Hello, Home Slices. It's Kiara with Home Slice Adulting coming to you all in chill mode. It's a beautiful day today in the area that I'm living in, so I'm just kind of chilling out on the couch. Yeah, just hanging out. So this is gonna be a real chill video, but we are back for the third episode of season 5 of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood. And before we get started, I want to say thank you for clicking on this video, and do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. But most importantly, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that a little birdie can chirp and tell you when I posted new content. Also, yesterday I posted my first installment of my Road Tripping Chronicles, which is a vlog series that I'm going to be uploading over the next week. As some of you may know, I recently moved all the way from Louisiana to Washington State. It was about 2,500 miles to get here, and the vlog series takes place before and during the 3-day drive on the way up here to Washington State. So if you're interested, be sure to check that out and stay tuned for the rest of the videos in that series. Now, let's get into it. So we're back to A1 and Safaree. And A1 is not happy, and security basically has to hold him back. Now, some people feel like this storyline is not real, but ever since I've been reviewing this show and any other reality show, I never discuss if a scene is contrived or not, because we all know that these reality shows have some type of scripted portion. They're not 100% real, but they're not 100% fake. So for me, it's a waste of time to talk about if a scene is fake or not, and I just take everything at its face value. But with that being said, A1 is really selling the scene for me. He seems to genuinely be hurt by his friend. Safaree is more so on the unaffected side and feels like A1 approached him wrong and even taunts him, saying that he's going to text Lyrica and tell her how, A1 has been acting. And Safaree doesn't even really answer the question about, what happened between him and Lyrica, and basically just says it is what it is. Safaree attacks A1's manhood, which is the low-hanging fruit when it comes to attacking A1. Everybody talks about his fashion choices and how some of them are more feminine than masculine, but, A1 was like, don't let any of that stuff fool you, okay? So, definitely this is not over with in any sense of the word. But moving on, we see Princess in Paris, and Princess is at a place getting her belly casted so that she can have a keepsake to remind her about her first pregnancy. I've seen people do it before. It's cool, whatever you want to do. But Princess says, she's not drinking the Norwood Kool-Aid, and I don't blame her. I'm not a huge fan of Princess, and I really do think that she has some growing up to do, but I admire her for standing up to the Norwoods, and I think that is what's bothering them so much, is that they cannot bully Princess into doing what they want her to do. So, anyways, we see Paris rubbing plaster of Paris on Princess's pregnant belly. Princess tells Paris about the situation at her gender reveal, and Paris kind of makes it an interesting point and says that Ray J probably thinks that he's trying to please everyone. Now, from my viewpoint, I feel like Ray J is trying to please his sister and his mother at the detriment of Princess, because I feel like he's been throwing Princess under the bus. But Ray J shows up, and in his confessional, he takes responsibility for putting himself in a place where Princess has to question his loyalty. And, I just want to give him a for realizing that. And, it's not always about what you do. It's about putting yourself in a place where it looks like you have done something wrong. So, he's taking accountability, and this makes me feel like there may be some hope for Ray J and Princess after all. Now, they give each other a little church hug because he doesn't want to mess up the cast that she has on her pregnant belly. But Ray apologizes, and Princess accepts, like readily accepts. She's ready to get back to her life and to, her home, so that Ray J and Princess can enjoy the final, months of her pregnancy. And they're putting everything behind them. And this is just a sign of maturity or whatever. So Princess talks about how she crashed the fashion show and how Moniece came after her with a chair. And Ray J is very upset and he talks a little bit about their family history and that for the most part he just ignores Moniece, but he cannot ignore this. And Princess says, Ray J, don't worry about it, okay? In 2 months, I'll take care of myself. And Ray J said, no, in 2 months, you're going to be taking care of our baby and thinking about the future and that he's going to take care of it. So moving on, we see Brooke. And so, interestingly enough, Brooke acknowledges that Lyrica was a better friend to her than she's been to Lyrica when it comes to keeping secrets. Because the last season, when Brooke was, playing Booby and Marcus off of each other, Lyrica didn't say nothing. So, in that way, I think Brooke feels bad about what she did. But in all fairness, she probably told Marcus about the Facebook Live situation during Pillow Talk and never thought that it would get back to A1. But overall, Brooke's involvement seems kind of wrong to me. But, if you don't do questionable stuff, there's no reason for rumors to circulate. So it's, whatever. Moving on. So Brooke wants to get a breast reduction. Now, personally, I think that Brooke's breasts are a good size for her body type, but if they're causing her pain, then, go ahead and go through with the breast reduction. Now, the doctor says that during her consultation, he felt lumps in her breasts and that when they remove some of the, breast tissue for the breast reduction, they're going to remove the lumps and send them to be tested to see if they are cancerous or benign. Brooke is spacing out a little bit, like the doctor has to tap her on the leg and Brooke, are you with me? And the anticipation of knowing that you will have to wait weeks to find out if you have breast cancer or not when none of your family members have had it. I know that anticipation can be terrifying. So I feel a little bad because last week they showed Brooke telling Marcus that she had lumps in her breast. And I didn't know if that was a ploy, but it appears that it is not. And I know people who are dealing with breast cancer. I know people who have to take extreme preventative measures because they have, breast cancer that runs in the family, breast cancer that has killed their family members. And before breast cancer can even take hold, they get a, mastectomy and reconstructive surgery so that nothing will happen to them. And it's a very troubling situation because not only is it about your health, but it messes with you mentally because we associate our female organs and female reproductive organs with being a woman. And we wonder, if I get a double mastectomy, am I going to feel like a woman? Am I going to look like a woman? Am I going to be treated like a woman? It's just a bunch of stuff that's going on. So I totally understand Brooke's concern. And, I pray that nothing is wrong with her and that the lumps are benign. But moving on, we see Lyrica and Lyrica Garrett, little Lyrica and Mama Lyrica. So the mom and daughter talk about what's been going on with the rumors. Lyrica Garrett's face, y'all, is atrocious. I mean, she has the snuffleupagus eyelashes, very big lips that look like they've been altered. And then she has a little ring right here on the top of her lip. And she went overboard with the enhancements and she's just trying too hard to be young instead of maturing gracefully, in my opinion. But K. Michelle's name comes up and Lyrica G says that she knows K. Michelle is a dirty B word. But then Mama Lyrica asks a good question. How did 3 or 4 people get the same impression if nothing is going on? Now, Mama Lyrica has been on some BS in the past, and I said in the past before I realized what she was going to do on this episode, but there's nothing like a mama that will call you out on your mess. We got too many mamas out here trying to be friends that don't hold their children accountable for things. But I do like that Lyrica was putting baby Lyrica's feet to the fire on that. And she tells Lyrica that, she shouldn't allow any inappropriate behavior between her and Safari. But then she recalls Lyrica telling her that Safari sent her an inappropriate picture. Now, Lyrica claims that she never used the word inappropriate, and to me, that means that she liked whatever picture that she got. But okay. But she accuses her mother of being messy for even saying that, probably for saying that in front of the cameras. And I have to say that I agree with Lyrica, with Little Lyrica. I think Big Lyrica's intention were to make Safari seem like the aggressor and to seem like the more wrong person out of the two of them. And instead, it was more damning than, it was more damning than anything. I hope that makes sense. But moving on, Big Lyrica says they're going to work this out and that she's going to go to A1 and Lyrica's house to grab some things for her and talk to A1. Now, I personally don't think that adults should have their parents getting in on the relationship drama, namely because of what ends up happening in this episode later. But we both know that their mothers have a flair for the dramatic and that they have had problems before, so of course this is going to get blown out of proportion. Now, moving on, we have a Ray J Raytronics situation going on. Apparently, he signed a $31 million deal to promote his electronics, Scooty Bikes, headphones. He's trying to get Nick Cannon with the Incredible stuff, or Dr. Dre with Beats or whatever. I don't think that's going to happen. But get your money, man. You got a baby to support now, and your original shenanigans is not gonna cut it no more. Okay. So moving on. We see A1 show up and tells Ray J everything that happened. Particularly with Safari and Ray J. And Ray J said, I don't see A1. Ray J says that he doesn't see A1 risking his pearls to go after Safari. That's so mean. But moving on, he also tells A1 that Safari's penis went viral, just recently. So moving on, Brooke and Bridget have a conversation at the same event, and Brooke is spreading more gossip to yet another person regarding Lyrica and Safari, which tells me that she is not too sorry about not being a good friend to Lyrica. Now, I find that it is suspicious that Lyrica would describe Safari's pee-pee before it went viral on the internet. Okay, but that gets explained a little bit later. Now, Bridget relays to Brooke that K. Michelle was the first person to leak the special friendship between Lyrica and Safari. And so I think for Brooke, that takes a weight off of her shoulders because I think she felt because of how mad Lyrica was that she was the first person who said something to A1. But moving on, Brooke mentions the lumps in her breast, and Bridget wants to know why she didn't call her. Now, essentially, she's going to use this dire situation, one that can be very emotional. Having cancer or the possibility of having cancer is very serious. And Brooke, to me, is planning on using this serious situation to make Marcus realize that he needs to be with her and not his little girlfriends. And I'm like, what a way to turn lemons into lemonade. But to me, it seems like she is exploiting the situation. Bridget just said, why didn't you tell me? I could have been there for you. I can be there for you. But you basically turned down Bridget's help in order to solely rely on Marcus's help to get him to realize that he needs to be with you. I don't like that. And it comes off as if she's exploiting the fact that she could have cancer, and I just don't like that. It feels yucky and grimy. But Fizz shows up, and as much as I didn't like any of Fizz's previous storylines on the show, I was actually kind of happy to see him this time around. So next, a guy that I have never seen nor heard of before named Rockstar comes up. Apparently, he's a super producer. And off the top, Rockstar is immediately shading the crap out of A1. He's saying that he knew him back when he was just steak sauce and when he was just running behind Lyrica and he wasn't even allowed in the studio session. And it's clear already that they have this love-hate relationship, that they're very competitive. And initially, it feels like it's fun shade fueled by, their egos. Now, A1 thinks that Rockstar is threatened by him because he is up and coming producer, and he's doing well for himself. And And the fact that Rockstar shaded him out the gate might kind of be proof of that. But they described their relationship as a, competitive brother, situation. Now, moving on, we see Apple Watts. This is still at the same event. She talks with Bridget and Brooke, and Rockstar walks over and immediately sets his sight on poaching Apple strictly off the fact that A1 is going to be working with her. This further supports A1's point that Rockstar is threatened by him, and Rockstar is basically campaigning. And I mean, as smart as it is for Apple Watts to work with multiple people and have multiple connections in the music industry, it's going to cause a problem. And at this point, Apple does not know that she's being used as a pawn. But moving on, we see A1 and the mamas. A1's mama is wearing long johns, and the camera crew know they wrong for zooming in on his mama's body. It's so wrong. Whew. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. But what's with that huge nose ring that his mama got on her nose? It's huge. Anyways, moving on. Lyrica G shows up and she is upset, and she does come in there a little aggressive about what's been going on. A1 doesn't feel like he has to answer to her, and I think that she is right. A1's issue is with his wife. So Lyrica G flips the script and says that A1 is allowing some hearsay to come between him and Lyrica. And A1 is like, well, it's not just one person that I've been listening to. And Lyrica G don't care. She's raising her voice. And A1's mama gets so mad that she throws cake batter all over the place, all over A1. And Big Lyrica grabs a chair to fight. And now everybody is mad. And that's the thing. When you have relationship problems and you tell those problems to your family, I understand. I 100% understand the urge and the need to vent, to tell people what's going on in your life, to get their advice, to have a listening board. I get it. But when you go to family as opposed to a very trusted friend, it creates issues in the family. Particularly when you make up and you don't let your family know that you made up, and your family is mad at them still for something that you've forgiven them for. But I understand the urge to want to tell your parents and tell your mama, but it creates problems like this, unfortunately. So moving on, A1 kicked Lyrica's mama and his mama out. He kicked his mama out for calling him Hollywood. So Pam, which is A1's mama, claims that the Lyricas are Illuminati and took A1 to the dark side. And as a result, he left his mom and his brother behind. All A1 cares about is getting cake mix out of his hair. Now, do I agree with A1 kicking his mama out? I kind of don't care. I'm ambivalent about that. Because even though Lyrica came in there and she was on some crazy stuff and she was, overstepping her boundaries a little bit, A1's mother escalated the situation all the way, to the tippy top. Okay. And so kicking your mama out the house is not something that you're supposed to do. But in the heat of the moment, I could see why he was upset and wanted to do that. But moving on. A1 cares about getting the cake mix out of his hair. But moving on, Brooke and Marcus. Okay, Brooke and Marcus meet up on a cliff, and Marcus is already mad because he does not want to talk about what happened at the party with Stassi and blah, blah, blah. But Brooke, stops him, and she tells him about the lumps. And of course, this changes his tune. However, he makes it clear in the confessional that he is mindful of Stassi's feelings about him meeting up with Brooke. And I think Marcus really likes Stassi, and that Brooke may have lost Marcus to Stassi because she allowed him to go out and have fun with other people, and he caught feelings. Now, moving on, Brooke is on her, because I really need somebody. Tell me I need somebody. And Marcus, is that somebody? He's honest and says that just because he has a girlfriend doesn't mean that he can't be a great friend to Brooke. And to me, it's looking a lot like Brooke has lost Marcus. And that she just hasn't let go yet. She's looking kind of silly, but we'll see what happens. So next, we see Rockstar and Apple Watts. And let me tell y'all something. The more I see Apple Watts, the more I like her, and we'll get into that. So Apple Watts thinks that she has hit the jackpot, having two good producers on her side. Of course, you would feel like you hit the jackpot. And Rockstar is basically just using the girl. He has enough confidence that, Apple Watts has this rough around the edge type of, thing going for her. And he's confident that his talent and his resume can really give Apple a hit. But he's not here to help her in that way. And I don't like him. He kind of looks like Jamie Foxx to me. I don't know. But moving on, Rockstar calls A1 a thorn in his toe. And he claims that his reason for being so mad with A1 is that A1 was basically nothing when Lyrica used to come and work with him. He said that he would send A1 into the hallway while they were working. And to me, that does not seem like a reason to be mad at somebody. If you send A1 into the hallway, I mean, if y'all never had words or nothing like, he never said they got into arguments or disagreements about the way Lyrica's career was going. They've never gotten into a fist fight. They've never had any real confrontations. It just seems like Rockstar is mad that A1 has elevated himself to become a pretty good producer. And to me, it's coming off as like a Lil Kim versus Nicki Minaj situation where like Rockstar was there first and he feels like A1 has not worked hard enough to deserve any accolades, or that A1 is not paying him homage or anything like that. But the truth is, Rockstar is a punk that's threatened, and Apple is a real one for peeping game off rip, okay? Apple said that Rockstar is talking about A1 behind his back to a total stranger, and that's a recipe for a backstabber, and you got to watch out people like that. And I love that Apple is too smart to be a pawn in this little game, and she's going to stick with A1, and I love that about her, that she was able to see through that and work with a person who was genuinely interested in her talent. Now, moving on, we're at K. Michelle's show, and a lot of stuff happens here. Bridget opens up for her, and she's a good singer, but unfortunately, Bridget has not worked on enough new material because Special Delivery is an old song, and she's singing that in 2018. I mean, it's not that it's a bad song or anything, but if you have an opportunity to sing in front of K. Michelle's fans, wouldn't you want to have some new material for them so that they can be interested in what you're doing right now? And that way, Bridget and Brooke are alike in that they are not working on new music right now, and that's something that they really need to focus on. But moving on, I don't care for K. Michelle's music. I feel like her voice is quite mediocre, and for the most part, I feel as if K. Michelle would not be as popular an artist if she did not have Love and Hip Hop. And it's not that Love and Hip Hop, and it's not about Love and Hip Hop elevating her to give her a bigger platform. I think that K. Michelle's biggest selling point is that people like her personality, that people like that she's very witty and funny and confrontational. And if people were not exposed to that aspect of her, then they wouldn't care for her music. I hope that makes sense. But I've never liked K. Michelle's music, and I don't think her singing voice is that great. But she's struggling with her health, and I wish her the best in that aspect and in getting healthy and whatnot. So Paris is there, and they're building their relationship back up or whatever. And so Lyrica G shows up, and she plans to shake the truth out of K. Michelle. Now, Lyrica G kind of overstepped her boundaries when she went to talk to A1, but she definitely overstepped her boundaries by going to K. Michelle, and she's just way out of line. She's trying to get past security, and she's yelling, and this is just not good. So Paris goes out there to kind of run interference, and then Paris ends up getting into it with Mama Lyrica. Now, Mama Lyrica is trying to move the security gate and is getting real rowdy, and then Paris cracks me up when she says that Lyrica is getting stretched from messing with Safari. That was funny to me. The fact that K. Michelle did not come out to talk with Lyrica, I don't know how to feel about that. On one hand, I've never seen K. Michelle shy away from a confrontation, but the fact that Lyrica G is older, I think it may be a respect kind of situation. So I'm on the fence about that. I do think it was good that K. Michelle did not go out there. But moving on, here comes Ray J. And Mama Lyrica is trying to get in with, she says, I'm with Ray J, let me back here. Now here comes Moniece. So it's Moniece, K Michelle, and Ray J. Moniece does not back down when Ray J confronts her about the chair throwing situation. Moniece feels like Princess gets a pass for being crazy, but I feel like during the whole entire run of Little Hip Hop Hollywood, Moniece has gotten a pass for being crazy. Always. And so Ray J brings up the rumors about Brandy being his surrogate, and Moniece seemed to the way she explained why she did it was because somebody was talking trash and she was talking trash. So it was on some revenge stuff. Again, when it comes to Moniece and getting into it with Moniece, whoever Moniece is into it with has to be the bigger person for the beef to stop, because Moniece does not know how to be the bigger person. Okay. K Michelle does not know how to feel about the situation except entertained. It was interesting to watch though. Ray J stands up for his wife for the first time, and I'm with that. Okay, I'm all for somebody standing up for the person that they love, particularly since Ray J did not necessarily stand up for Princess against his own family. But I have never cared for Moniece, and she mentioned the sex tape situation. Now, back when Princess was trying to get Moniece's sex tape released, Ray J did express that what Princess was doing was not cool. And I felt as if Princess did not go through with releasing the sex tape off of Ray J's advice. So the fact that Moniece brought that up, I felt that it was interesting because I did feel like Ray J was honest with Princess about that not being okay. But moving on, we see A1 and he's having a family dinner, and unbeknownst to him, his older brother Lloyd is in town. Now Lloyd is mad off rip because Pam kicked Pam out the house. Now Pam done brought in reinforcements, and I kind of don't like this. I'm starting to feel bad for A1 because he's getting it from all angles. Every area of his life is under attack. His wife, his friend Safari, his mother-in-law, his own mama, his older brother, and his professional rival Rockstar. In his career, in his marriage, in his family, he's getting it from all sides. And it's just poor A1 doesn't have any support from anywhere because everybody in his life is mad at him. And I feel bad for A1. But, life just isn't going his way. And his brother accused him of changing. Where's my brother minus the nail polish, minus the dreads, minus the pearls, minus Lyrica? The person that I knew, the brother that I knew would never have kicked our mom out of the house. And, it's funny when you get successful and you get rich, when you're able to build a little bit of wealth in yourself, people accuse you of changing. And they don't accuse you of changing until you start being inconvenient to them. Okay. We know for sure that A1 is out here providing for his mama. He kicks her out the house once and she brings his brother to come be reinforcements. It's like, A1 says he has changed. He has elevated. When you go from having nothing to having something, change is inevitable. And I feel like kind of like A1 feels. A lot of things are going wrong in A1's life, and his family is not there for him because of one thing that he did in the heat of the moment, kicking his mama out of the house. And so instead of being supportive, they are basically saying everything about you is wrong. Everything about you has changed. We don't like the new you. And instead of being supportive of him, they are, in opposition. And so things get so heated that, Lloyd and Floyd are about to fight. Floyd is A1's real name. But they're really about to fight. A1 is climbing over tables and everything. But Pam basically says Lyrica doesn't mean him any good and that A1 needs to stay woke. Okay, so next we have Ray J and Safari meeting up. And to be honest, half the cast is wrapped up in this A1, Lyrica, and Safari, situation. So this is the storyline that is carrying the show for now. And Ray J says he's the only person who can fix this situation, okay? So he meets up with Safari, and Safari says he didn't do anything. Safari also claims that he accidentally sent a dick pic to Lyrica. That does not sound plausible to me. Accidentally sending somebody a picture or a text message does happen, but accidentally sending, I don't know, it does not sound good, okay? But moving on, Ray claims that Lyrica and A1 got back together, and that in order for them to get back together, Lyrica had to come clean, and Lyrica said that she slept with Safari. And Safari was like, Lyrica said that? And he was like, well, I didn't mean for it to happen. And basically reveals that he was lying. Basically, Ray J says, well, I just told you that to see if you would tell me the truth. And the fact that you are admitting that something happened between you guys means that, you know, there was definitely something inappropriate. And, you know, Safari says that A1 is still his boy, and things just got out of hand. And despite whether this storyline is real or not, it's very entertaining, okay? But next time on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, we finally get into the situation with Tiara Marie, and Akbar. Marcus and Brooke are still going through their things. And Stassi might actually be preggers, which is going to put a big monkey wrench in Brooke's plans. Lyrica and A1 are getting deeper and deeper into marital discord, and Fizz is dating Moniece's nemesis, which is something that I totally forgot about. But that's what's going to happen next time. Thank you guys for watching. Again, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what your thoughts were on this episode, and if you think Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is the best franchise of the Love and Hip Hop series. Thank you guys, and peace out, home slices.